Hi there. I have a question for you. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wished that you could just love what you see, but instead you find yourself never feeling like you have the right body and always wishing that if you could just change this or fix that, then you'd really feel good about yourself? And you feel like you don't have the right body, maybe you don't have the right face, maybe you aren't the right age, and just ultimately you end up like never feeling like you are just enough. And you really wish that you could shift that. Well, today we are going to be talking about 4 simple ways to transform self loathing into self love. And we've created an acronym for you. 4 simple ways spell out the acronym LOVE, LOVE. And if we're meeting for the first time, it is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Jennifer Jimenez, and I am the co founder of Brave Thinking Institute and the founder and director of our health and well-being division. And so let's dive right in. I have the absolute pleasure of supporting women from all over the world, from all different countries, shift that very thing that we're talking about, that overly powerful, that negative inner critic that leads to this feeling of self-loathing and never feeling enough. And there is a real price to pay for that. Never feeling enough and not having a sense of self-love impacts our ability to be a good parent or to attract love into our life or to create a truly loving partnership and marriage and to go after our dreams and our goals and be as successful as we would love to be. And what I have found now in over 15 years of doing this work and working with thousands of women all over the world is there are some very, very simple yet highly effective, tested and proven tools that you can begin to learn, discover, and practice in your life that can make all the difference and help you truly give your gifts and talents to the world in the ways that you would love. And so let's go ahead and unpack this acronym. Now, before we begin, I want to share our mission. Our mission is to empower you to create and live a life you love, a confident, vibrantly healthy life you love in mind, body, and spirit. And we believe that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And to quote my mom and the owner of Brave Thinking Institute, Mary Morrissey, the content of your life is the curriculum of your evolution. So, what if this inner critic or this tendency for self loathing is actually a call for greater spiritual awakening and true transformation on the highest level? That's what we'll be exploring and unpacking today. So, to dive right in, step number 1 in your 4 simple steps to transforming self loathing into self love is the word L, and that is to listen to your inner voice. I believe that we have multiple voices running in our minds. I'm sure you're aware of this voice. You have the voice that encourages you and supports you. And what I find, especially with people that had overly powerly or critical caregivers or parents, is there or coaches or teachers, is oftentimes those negative, overpowering or bully type voices end up becoming embedded and become part of our inner voice. And so the first step is to even recognize and notice the voices in our own mind and begin to listen to those inner voices. Our second step is the word O, and that's to organize our thoughts, not just let them run like a broken record, but organize your thoughts. Now, your thoughts will usually be in those 2 different categories. It's either a thought from your inner critic or it's a thought of empowerment or positivity. And so once you listen to them, then you want to pay attention. Which voice is speaking? Who does this voice even sound like? Is this voice even mine? Is this the voice of truth, or is this just simply a programmed voice that doesn't even actually belong to me? It belongs to that bully coach that coached me for 5 years, or an overly negative parent that always tore me down. And it's not even really my own voice. And start to recognize where these voices maybe got installed. Now, our third step is the V, and it's to visualize, to use the power of the mind. You may or may not know this, but we have superpowers in our mind. One of these superpowers is the power of visualization. Now, you want to visualize two things. Now, sometimes I have clients that share with me that they feel like they have a little inner devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. But I'm going to work with two different sorts of images. One is the image of your best friend. Now, most people have somebody that they love and care about and have a best friend, but not everybody. So you could use the face of a best friend or the image of a best friend. It could be an image of a spiritual teacher. If you have a connection to a spiritual teacher, it could be somebody like the Dalai Lama, or maybe if you're Christian, Mother Mary, or it could be somebody like Mother Teresa, or a grandparent, or even a pet. And if you think about some of the negative voices that you might be allowing to come through, to be spoken inside of your own head, the question is, would you allow this voice to be spoken to your best friend, or to a child you love, or to a family member that you love dearly? And every single time when I ask that question, my clients say, absolutely not. I'll often get out of the shower and I'll be looking at myself in the mirror, and the voice in my head, I begin to listen to that voice. I begin to recognize which voice it is. Usually it's not really my own voice, although it sounds like my voice. It's a programmed voice from an overly powering, negative, person that was older than me, or mentor, or someone. Then I begin to visualize, okay, if I can press pause on this negative voice, as I organize it in my mind, I'm going to visualize that voice, that negative voice, getting very, very small into a tiny little dot. And then I'm going to imagine my best friend, or the voice of love, becoming very, very strong, becoming very big and very strong. And what's powerful and beautiful about your mind is, in your mind, anything is possible. So you can make this negative voice tiny and like a little tiny speck, and you can flick it off your shoulder, and then you can make this best friend, or this spiritual energy, this energy of love, really, really big and powerful. And you would ask, what would that voice of love say to me in this moment? What is that voice of truth, and what is that voice of truth say? And that leads us to the E, which is to empower ourselves. We want to empower ourselves with what we call the results formula. The results formula are these letters: T, F, A, R. T, F, A, R. Thoughts generate feelings. Feelings ultimately lead to actions, and our actions lead to results. So if we're up here and we're not even aware of the self-loathing that's happening, that self-loathing is going to generate really low level, unhappy, disempowering, maybe shameful feelings, which lead to actions that are not in alignment with our goals, which lead to results that we're not in love with ultimately. So if we want to change our results, we want to start up here. Notice what we're noticing, listening to the inner voice, organizing. Whose voice is this anyways? Visualizing, taking the negative voice into a tiny little speck of dust, flicking it off, and expanding in the voice of love, and then empower ourselves. Ask ourselves, all right, well, if I'm thinking the thoughts of the best friend, if my best friend could encourage me right now, what would my best friend say to pick me up, to motivate me, to inspire me, to encourage me? What would that feeling be? Let me feel that feeling. Based on that feeling, what action would I take? Maybe I'd eat something healthier today. Maybe I'd take a little time and go for a walk out, around the corner, or dance to my favorite song. Maybe I would schedule that doctor's appointment, or that massage, or that dentist appointment that really is in alignment with my health and well-being and my self-care. And so ultimately, our vision, our support for you is to love yourself more deeply. And it starts in your own mind right here, listening to those words, those voices in your mind, and know that you have the power to empower yourself to think positive thoughts, feel positive feelings, take positive actions, and create results that you absolutely love. So here at Brave Thinking Institute, our goal is to support you in small incremental ways to begin to install these new beautiful, empowering beliefs. And so we have a confidence kit for you with an ebook and a guided meditation that we think will absolutely help you very quickly and easily transform self-loathing into self-love. Now, we would love to hear from you. If you have some ways that you've transformed self-loathing into more self-love, please share that with us. We'd love for you to share here in the comments. Also, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that we can let you know about other empowering videos that we have for you. Please share this video with friends or family. If you know somebody who has overly active self-loathing and you would love to see them treat themselves with a little more love, this may be the formula that they need to hear. So please go ahead and share it. And we would love for you to continue to think bravely and to really love yourself even more boldly. Have a great day.